Hey everybody, Beth Helvey, Michael Saunders and Company. How are you? It is Monday, May 11th, and yes, I have to look every single time. And we are talking about numbers like we do every single Monday, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. The comparative numbers for April of 2019 and April of 2020 are available, and I think those are important numbers to look at because what we've been seeing is a decline in some of the numbers and then an uptick in some of the numbers. So we're going to go through some of these and explain them, and then we'll look at this past week's numbers compared to when we started our stay at home, which for us here in Florida was April 1st is when we started our stay at home. So if you look at April 2019, okay, we had at that time 6,627 active properties. Those were properties that were on the market, not under contract. Whether they hit the market in April or whether they've been on the market for a few months, I don't know. But that's what we do know, is all the properties that were available if you wanted to come to Florida and search were 6,627. Hey, Dean, and that includes Sarasota County, Manatee County, single-family homes, townhomes, villas, and condos. I didn't separate them out. I'm looking at bulk numbers, okay? We'll do another show with separating stuff out. In April of 2020, we had 5,570 active properties. Makes sense. A lot of people took their property off the market, some even in March. Before we got our stay-at-home orders, some people were taking their properties off the market. That is a 15.9% decrease from 2019 to 2020. Now, sold. These are properties where buyer and seller exchanged money and keys. Okay? It's closed, it's sold, everybody got what they wanted, transaction is over. In April of 2019, we sold 1,784 properties in Sarasota and Manatee counties, and that's all of them, all the properties. In April of 2020, we sold 1,289. That's a 15.9% decrease. Now, don't forget, part of that 1,289 is from March. So when we have a property that has sold and had closed, let's not forget that the process and the transaction and everything that has to do with that started 6 weeks, 8 weeks prior to that. So some of that number is still from March's activities. Does that make sense? So we still had a 15.9% decrease. Now here's where the numbers are significant. In 2019 of April, we had 1,823 properties that were in the pending status. That means that there was 1,823 properties that were under contract. They were no longer available to be purchased and they hadn't yet closed. They were in that limbo process where we were doing all the work to make sure that it got to closing, whether that's inspections, loans, whatever the case may be. There was 1,823. In April of 2020, we had 1,088, which is a 40% decrease. So from April 2019 to April 2020, we had a drop of 40% in properties that went under contract. Now, we shouldn't be surprised by this. We really shouldn't. And I am willing to bet you that in June, when we're looking at our May numbers, we're going to see a serious decrease from the May properties that sold, that closed in 2019 versus the May properties in 2020 that closed. We're going to see a decrease because don't forget, the pending stuff starts and it becomes effective or sold or what have you in 4 to 8 weeks. So we saw a 40% decrease. This shouldn't surprise us. We have significantly less inventory. We have people in our feeder states. Our feeder states are where we see most of our people coming from. Most of those people are still under lockdown. Yes, we're selling properties. Yes, it's still happening, but not to the extent it typically is this time of year. Now, let's see a little bit of good news. When this first started, and I'm looking at these week to week. So I start on a Monday and I finish on a Sunday because I want to include the weekend and what's been going on, what went active, what went under contract, what closed. So we're going from a Monday to a Sunday. So my dates are a little different here, okay? So when this first started, if I want to capture when we first went under quarantine, I'm looking at the week of March 30th to April 5th. Okay, so at that time we had 249 just that week. Okay, we had 249 active properties, 140 were pending. We had 223 properties take off the market. They withdrew their listing. They said, nope, we're not playing in the sandbox anymore. And then we had 581 close. The 581 was activity that was going on in February, March. So we have those numbers. Fast forward to now. We saw a lot of these numbers decreasing. We saw our solds decreasing, our pendings decreasing, our actives decreasing. But now look at what we're seeing. Last week, which was May 4th to May 4th to May 11th, we had 379 properties go active. A month ago it was 249. We had 489 go under contract. That was from 140. 489 from 140. That is a significant amount of confidence in the real estate market and in housing and in our future. Significant. So we went from 140 that were pending to 489 in a 1 week time span. Okay? We went from 223 properties at the beginning of the month that they took their property off the market to 99. That's that's less than half. So, and then this is the number that we're going to be expecting. We had 581 properties close the first week of April. Last week we had 237. I completely expected that because the 237 is reflective activity that was going on roughly 6 weeks ago. The real indicator as to how the market is doing and how people feel about what's going on here, which is really what is important, is that active status, which is properties that are active, and that pending status, especially that pending status. So again, we went from 140 that were pending to 489. It's huge, huge number. It's a huge increase, and that's what we want to see. And we've been seeing that. We had, it's been steady. So we had the drop going on, and then immediately it started going back up. So, that first week of April into that second week of April, we're a little scary, a little troublesome, okay? But then as soon as we hit it, and then we started seeing the numbers going right back up again, and people becoming more and more confident in what's going on here. And I think part of that, hi Dan, I think part of that is because we'd really implemented and established good protocols for showing properties, meeting with clients, and taking care of business. We weren't kind of thrown into this without really realizing what were going on. So the buyers that were buying knew how they wanted to handle things. The sellers that were selling knew how they wanted to handle things. And us as realtors, we'd all gotten that stuff put together. And that there was probably a bit of a training wheel time period for us. We were trying to figure out how we were going to do this. And it's, we've never been in this situation before, so it's completely understandable. So again, the indicator as to how people are seeing the market and how we're doing is that pending status went from 140 to 489. I think that's fantastic. I think that's significant numbers. And I'm willing to bet you that next week, when we do this again on a Monday, a week from today, I bet we're going to see those numbers go up again. We've got more properties coming to market. We still don't have enough inventory. I mean, we were already low. We're really low. So, but I think we're going to see more properties going pending. And then slowly we'll see more properties come back on market. That number is always behind. We always see more buyers before we see sellers. I don't know why. That's part of the seller and buyer psychology that I don't know about, but that's typically how it goes. So granted, our month 2019 to 2020 is, that's a big drop, but I think that the numbers from the beginning of April to the end of April are so much better. Hi, Blise. And those numbers are so much better, and they're going up, and I think we're going to see some good things. So if you have any questions about this, because I'm kind of a stat junkie and I love seeing patterns and things. So if you have any questions on this, throw it in the comments or drop me a DM. I'm happy to answer any of them that I possibly can. And if you have any questions on real estate in general, throw it in the comments or drop me a DM. I'll do the same. I hope y'all are doing good. We had some rain yesterday. It is love bug season, so you're probably seeing love bugs everywhere. But it is still beautiful. It is probably the mid-80s. It's a little muggy outside, but not too bad. We've got a beautiful breeze in the air. So if you can, get out there and get some vitamin D. Do so while exercising social distancing. Wear your sunscreen, drink a lot of water, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye now.